Mike, it's another week. The Irish are coming off a victory, so I'm sure everybody in the message boards are happy. Recruiting's been a little quiet this week, but we've still got plenty to talk about on this Tuesday. Why don't we just kind of blend everything together? A former recruit, now the backup quarterback for this Notre Dame football team, Steve Angeli, got a little playing time on Saturday. As he pointed out, I was in the game. We scored a touchdown. Good things happen when the New Jersey native gets into the ball game. But first off, it was a scary hit on Drew Pine. Good to see he bounced back and came in the football game. And I know, Mike, this is a guy you've spent a lot of time with when he was being recruited and had offered his commitment to the University of Notre Dame. So I think you know him as well as any Notre Dame media member. What are just kind of your impressions of Steve and how ready he was to handle that particular moment on Saturday?
Yeah, like you said, this is usually our 20 minutes to talk Notre Dame football recruiting, but not really much has transpired in the past week. So we're going to talk a little Angeli, and as soon as I heard what Marcus Freeman said about him, I texted you right away. I was like, all right, we need to talk about this guy today. So first about him as a when he's in high school. What stood out to me first is really how he carried himself. I know that's kind of a quarterback cliche that I think Notre Dame fans are kind of tired of hearing of, but that was my kind of first impression. Just how he spoke, how he led. I got to see him practice. This would have been back in August of 2020. Saw him practice, and just coaches talk about all the time how important practice is. All right, to be able to earn that trust and. I thought he was outstanding. A lot of times you can learn more about a player in practice than you can a game, especially if it's a 62-0 win. You're not learning a whole lot. They're playing scrubs. But that Bergen Catholic team, very good. One of the best programs in the country. In his senior year, they finished inside the top 5 of Max Prep's rankings, and Angeli had a lot to do with that. His leadership, more of a pro style run first offense. That's kind of just that big six. North Jersey ball that's just pro style, kind of offenses. You're not chucking the ball around too much, but Angeli still had a really strong season. He's big, he's listed at 6'2", but when you see him in person, he just looks 6'3", 6'4". Listed at I think 215 or 220. Really clean mechanics. His quarterback's coach growing up from grade school to high school. Matt Bastardi did a fantastic job with him. High school coach Vito Campanelli, one of the best. Like, if you know Jersey football, the Campanelli name is a big deal. I mean, there's several guys with the last name Campanelli coaching in the pros and college, and of course Vito in high school. So coached up really well. People ask me all the time about his arm strength. Mm-hmm. It's I would say he can throw the ball farther than Drew Pine, and he can put that intermediate 15 to 25 yard pass. He can put the zip on it with just about anyone. In my humble opinion, I will say I'm higher on Angeli than probably most everyone else is, maybe, but when he wins that third Heisman, I'm gonna be like, all right, here comes the fourth. I'm kidding, but seriously, like I just think that he's got all the tools. Like, he's more athletic than you would think. He throws a really pretty pass. He's got a strong arm, he's got like all the moxie, and he certainly has confidence, as Marcus Freeman alluded to.
Now, on Monday's Sportsbeat, I made this comment, Mike, that for a lot of people, this team winning as many games as possible is the most important thing the rest of the way, because as an independent, their major goals are gone at this particular time. Some people just want them to get to a bowl game. Some people just want them to beat either Clemson or USC. Everybody has their different way of trying to figure out what they want out of the rest of the season from a 4-3 football team. Maybe it's because I'm a media member. I look at it differently, and I'm not saying anybody else is wrong in their opinions. To me, the most important thing for this football team the rest of the way is figuring out if their 2023 starting quarterback is on the roster or not. Because I'm already looking ahead to next year, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to the seniors. I just look at this whole thing a different way because I'm in the media. Do they have their starting quarterback currently on the roster? Is he playing somewhere else in college football right now? I think that needs to be determined. So I always bring up, Mike, Buckner and Pine, and I stop there. am I being unfair in my conversation by not bringing up Angeli in the conversation?
Wow, that's loaded. I think if Angeli is going to be and this is just one man's opinion. I
Yeah,
haven't thought about this too much because I'm in the camp of, maybe keep in the corner of your eye next year. But I mean, I see comments all the time on YouTube or Twitter or message boards like the season's gone. No, the season's not gone. It's like if you're in that football program, the season is very still much
no
there, and you
question.
have some big goals. But again, if I'm on the staff, I gotta think if I'm Marcus Freeman, like, dude, if we stink next year, is my job safe? Like, seriously, you've got high expectations going into year two. As far as Angeli, though, again, my opinion, with not thinking about this a ton, would be I think it would be difficult for Notre Dame to go into next season without Angeli really playing this
I agree.
fall and starting him. That would be tough, because then who knows where Pine and Buckner are at, or they both at Notre Dame or what, but they're more established in their experience and, the Notre Dame offense and all that stuff. So I would think Angeli's best chance to be the starter next year is if he gets to play some this year and he's really good and he shows the staff that in the game as well as spring ball and fall camp next year. But I've said it, many times on your show, Darin, is that I think Notre Dame needs to be aggressive and get they still don't have a high school quarterback in this recruiting class, but of course that's looking down the line, not for the 2023 season. But I think they should get a high school quarterback in this recruiting cycle, in as well as a transfer. Notre Dame should have had one probably this year
Agreed.
for this season too. So I think they should do it next year.
Well said. I agree with that 100%. Should I, as someone that follows recruiting through you and Blue and Gold Illustrated, blueandgold.com, assume that it is going to be, how do I say it, unlikely for Notre Dame to get a game-changing class of 2023 quarterback? They might get a quarterback, but not in that game-changing category.
So I looked this up this morning. 50 top of the okay. All right, Singer, you got this. Come on. Of the 50 top quarterbacks in the country in the 2023 cycle, per the On3 consensus, 2 of them are uncommitted. 2. And I think one of them is more of an FBS prospect, not even a Power 5 guy, and the other one's got a couple Power 5 offers. So you're going to flip somebody. Like, that's what you're going to do. I think that Brandon Hillman, the young man from Virginia, who we've discussed a good bit, he plays high school quarterback, but, he could also be a running back, a receiver, or a defensive back. I do think Notre Dame, if they bring him in, they'll give him a shot to play quarterback at first, because why the heck not? Just add more competition, see if he can do it, kind of thing. If not, it's an Avery Davis type thing where you move him to a different position. And if not for injuries, I think Avery Davis would be an NFL player. I've thought that for years. Might not be an unpopular, or might be an unpopular opinion, but we'll never know because young man has battled so many injuries. But so can they go flip some high 4-star, 5-star type guy? I don't think so, Darin, because those guys have been committed so long, because the quarterbacks committed so early. There's been rumors out there about Jackson Arnold potentially visiting Notre Dame, which, from what I'm told, have been completely random and untrue. Marcus Freeman went out to see Peyton Bowen. I don't want to get off too far off track, but went out to see Peyton Bowen, Notre Dame's 5-star safety commit in the 23 cycle, and then of course Peyton's younger brother Eli, 2024 corner. And Jackson Arnold just happens to be the quarterback for that team. So my understanding is that Freeman texted him, "Hey, great game." They just kind of maybe talked on the phone once, but that was it. And then it's like, oh, he's going to visit for the Clemson game. It's like, where is this coming from? But that's modern day media for you, Darin. Something gets put out because it's quarterbacks, and then everyone loses their mind with it. But yeah, in terms of who Notre Dame could get, still very much to be determined, Darin, because Notre Dame, they haven't offered a new 2023 passer since August. So They would love to flip someone like Avery Johnson, who's a 4-star quarterback, Elite 11 guy from Kansas State. That looks unlikely. I'm told he's always, he's got like Kansas State merch or something. Like I have a hard time seeing that. And then there's some 3-star type guys who I think would be very good for Notre Dame to land at this point in the cycle. They're not to the level of Dante Moore, Jackson Arnold, but I mean, beggars can't be choosers at this point there.